my name is Maria Torres, and I'm going to be talking to you about my classroom management plan. I would like to start out with my philosophy, and it goes like this. As a future teacher, I am aware of the greatest challenge teachers face. Classroom management is a challenge that all teachers face during their teaching career. This challenge has the potential to interfere between teachers and their students. Therefore, it is important for teachers to establish a classroom management plan prior to the first day of class. So with that being said, I plan on establishing a classroom management from the very first day of class, and I plan on going over it the very first few weeks of school. And I was inspired by Lee Cantor and Marlene Cantor's assertive discipline model, as well as Barbara Colorasso's self-regulating approach. In opposition to hostile behavior, their model follows the belief that positive reinforcement and negative consequences will foster appropriate behavior in the classroom. And I also really like the self-regulating approach instead of using punishments. So if a child is misbehaving, instead of punishing them, I'd rather them just reflect on their actions, just as the self-regulating approach states. And this is the picture of my classroom map. And if you look at it closely, I chose to separate the teacher-directed group instruction and the teacher's desk from all of the small group areas, and the reason I did this was because, because this side of the room is going to be a lot louder than the other side, so I don't want the noise to travel. What I intend on doing is having small one-on-one groups for the students who need the special one-on-one direction, while the ones on this side of the room are doing their own cooperative small group instruction. And the student desks are placed in the middle of the room, and they're gonna be facing the whole group instruction area, which is right here. This is like the board, and this is the whole group instruction carpet area, and this is where the students meet at the beginning of the day, and then this is where they do their individual work. The teacher's desk, the reason I placed it in that position is so that the teacher can always see what the students are doing at all times while they're sitting at their desk or while they're in the cooperative small group areas. And then this area right here is one-on-one student conference area. This is where the teacher will sit with each individual student and talk to them. It's a special area for that. And then this over here is where the students keep their materials, and they have cubbies. And then this area right here is the teacher's corner, and this is during the very first week of school, the teacher will explain to her students that this is her area and nobody should come behind her desk and go through her stuff, just as she will never go through their stuff, which is this area right here. This is the student's area and this is the teacher's area, and that will be reinforced from the very first week of school. And then a few centers that I have are small group areas are the writing area, and then I have the dramatic play area. I have the reading area, which has couches and bean bags so the students can have their own time to read. And then I also have tubs right here, and these will contain manipulatives that the students will be able to take to their desks. And then I have the art and science area, and then I have a technology area, which has a few computers, and this is where students will be able to play educational games. And now I would like to talk to you about the classroom rules. According to Cronowitz, 2012, common practices regarding classroom rules include eliciting classroom rules from the students, ranking the rules with students, and selecting a maximum of 5 and stating rules positively. So what I did is I chose 5 rules, and they're all stated in a positive manner rather than saying no running, no talking. The way they're stated is rule number 1, respect rights and properties of others. Number 2, follow directions. Number 3, work quietly in the classroom. And number 4, be a good listener. Number 5, raise hands to speak or leave seat. And none of these are directed in a negative way. So that really helps students know what to do rather than what not to do. And the way I'm going to do the rules is the very first week of school. I'm going to go over the rules with this, not the rules, but I'm going to go over classroom behaviors with the students, and I'm going to direct them to make their own rules, and for each rule that they make, they're going to they're gonna, for each rule that they make, they're gonna give me an explanation as to why they think that should be a rule in the classroom. And then, so that's the rules. And also, I would like for them to, as soon as we establish the 5 rules of the classroom, they're going to write the rules down in their own piece of paper. And after writing the 5 rules down, they're going to sign it, and it's kind of like a contract for them to know that those are the rules for the classroom. And I'm also going to let them know that the rules are subject to change, so if anything happens in the classroom, I'm allowed to change the rules, and of course they will be notified of any change of rules. And then once they sign that paper, they're going to take it home to their parents. That way their parents are aware of the rules, and they are aware that the students know the rules of the classroom. And the procedures, those are also going to be established at the very first week of school, just like everything else is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep a classroom schedule posted on the board, and that classroom schedule will also, they'll keep a copy on their desk, and that way they know, they should know how to tell time, because this is for a 3rd grade classroom. So if they don't know what's going to happen next, what they would do is they would look at their schedule on their desk. They wouldn't even have to ask me what happens next. They're already going to know what happens next, because they're going to have their own schedule. And what I chose for my classroom management plan is I chose at the very beginning of every day, they're going to have like a meeting area, which is going to be right here in the whole group instruction area. And this is going to be 10 minutes where I'm going to go over everything they're going to do that day, and any new things that they need to be notified about. That will be at the very beginning of every day. And then also at the very end of the day, we're going to have 5 minutes of closure, which they're going to discuss what they learned. They're going to ask any questions that they have. And in regards to the transitions, well, like I said, the students are going to have their own schedule, and they're going to have it on their desk, so they should know what the schedule is. And after about a month of school, they should not even have to look at their schedule, because they're going to be so used to the routine that happens every day. And I actually chose a few procedures, and I decided to place them on the trifold. And I chose the procedure of what to do when you finish your work early, or how to ask for help, and how to apply for a classroom job. Well, I will talk to you about that in a few seconds. And these, I think I'm going to place some of these procedures, not all of them, but I'll place them around the classroom. That way students can just kind of get an idea of how to do things, but they'll eventually learn these throughout the school year. And then now I would like to talk to you about differentiation. And as a teacher, I'm aware that I'm going to have a variety of students from different grade levels. They're going to have special needs, but most importantly, in order to maximize the effectiveness of teaching, I'm going to have to get to know my students, and I will also take into account Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, because I believe that each student learns a different way. So I plan on learning about my students' strengths and their weaknesses, and by learning both strengths and weaknesses, I will be able to accommodate their learning, and also I'm going to be able to implement the different intelligences into my lesson plans. And I also plan on supporting my students with their learning difficulties by allowing plenty of time for practice, feedback, and encouragement. I will also take their special needs into consideration when arranging my seating arrangement. For example, I will always place the students that I know can't see well. I'll place them at the very front of the classroom so they will be able to see the board at all times. And I will also try to place like my strong English speakers with those who are English language learners. That way they can help each other out while sitting at the table. And I will also make a heterogeneous group at the tables. For example, I'll provide like maybe 2 that are above level and 2 that are below level. That way they can help each other out. And so now I'll talk to you about the student roles. I plan on giving my students classroom jobs, and there's many classroom jobs that I talk about in my paper, but I decided to put a few on the poster, which will be like mailman, electrician, which will be the person in charge of turning on the lights or turning off the lights, table washer, which will be the person who will wipe the table off or clean everything off, a door holder, a paper helper, the person that will help me pass out the papers, a line leader, and there are many other positions that they will be able to apply for. And in order to apply for these positions, I decided to make a job application, which is going to be like a real world application for a classroom job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the students choose which 3 jobs they would like the most, and then they're going to explain to me why they want that job, and then I will interview each student, and whichever one I feel is the greatest candidate for that job will get the job, but every student will be able to get the job that they want at the end of the school year. So they're going to rotate, and the reason I do classroom jobs is because it helps students become responsible, and it helps them, they'll feel committed, and they'll feel like they're going to feel as if they're part of the classroom and not just students, but they're going to feel like they're going to take ownership in the classroom, which is another way for their behavior to improve. And what else? And that will be all for my classroom management plan. Thank you.